Right. I am live. But I've just accidentally launched my favorite 3-strand needle on the floor somewhere. As in, like, it was sitting on the table and my fabric from the book Stitchalong brushed it. And it's just been launched somewhere on the floor. And for the last 8 minutes, I've been on my hands and knees on the floor looking for it, and I cannot find it anywhere. So it's going to be a fun surprise when I find that a different day. Can't wait for that to, like, come up through my slipper or something, you know? Goodness. I will find it. I will find it. But I don't like that. Girl, you better find it. Exactly. I know. Look, okay, so I don't normally like taking you guys on trips because it makes people nauseous, but I'm just going to show you where it went. Okay? Here we go. Somewhere over here. I've got not a clue where it is. I've just, like, put my fingers all over the floor. Not the best way to find things. I'm going to have to go through all this trash because maybe it went in there, but I distinctly heard the pin drop, you know what I mean? The needle drop on the floor sound. So I know it hit somewhere. Oh, we'll find it. We'll find it. But get a magnet. I need to. I've got some, like, needle minder type things. But I wonder if I could get, like, a bigger one. I'm gonna have to find it. At least the kids don't come up here, though, because that would really stress me out. You know? So thank goodness the kids don't come up here. Okay, so what we're going to do today... Oh, hello. I didn't do that yesterday. Yes, it has. It's my favorite, not my 6-strand one, but my 3/4-strand one. Which is a shame, because I haven't got another one of that size. But I'm more concerned that I'm going to, like, step on it somewhere. And then be like, ooh, we don't need another boat situation. My husband got me an industrial magnet on wheels because I'm always losing my magnet. Best husband ever. Well done, you. Okay, so what we're going to do is continue our stems. We've got one stem left, and we're going to use stem stitch. Surprise. So let's get a color. I've got this one, but it's very close to this one. I'm wondering if it's going to make a difference. That one's all right. It's not like... It's like a little bit darker. Like, not a lot darker, but a little bit darker. That one might be a bit better. Okay, I'm going to use this one. Let's see here. I've got 3 strands from yesterday. I could do that one. But my 3-strand needle is gone. I'll just use my 6-strand one. So we're going to use 3 strands. Is this 3 or 4? It's 4. Well, riddle me that. 4 would look good, though. Okay. We're going to use 4 strands. I'm going to do this dark color. And I'm actually going to show you on this one over here because it's a nice straight line. One, it has a slight curve to it. And also, you'll be able to see all the stitches. Whereas if I show you on this one, it's going to be so tiny. You're going to think, really? So let's do that one. Okay. So with the stem stitch, what I like to do is I like to put the loop on the hump, and it's going to make sense, I promise. So when you've got your hump, it's either like this or it's like this, okay? Whichever way it is. Or it could be sideways, or it could be the other sideways, like that. Yeah? But we're going to put your loop on the same side as the hump. Okay? So let's just do that now. What we're going to do is we're going to do a bunch of stitches, yeah, that are the same length, but they're offset like this. Okay, so we're going to kind of go like this, and then like this, and then like this, and we're going to make our way up the line or down the line, whichever way you want to work. It looks the same both ways. And then it's going to give like a little, like a rope-like twisty texture. Okay, so let's get started. Oops. Okay, so we're going to come up here. I'm going to go a little bit into my flower just so I can make sure it goes quite into it, if you know what I mean. Now, the closer together that you put your stitches, so if you put them really close like this, you're going to get a very twisty rope. If you put them a lot farther apart, so like bigger or longer stitches, it's going to look twisted, but not really tightly twisted like a rope. Okay? You're still not going to be able to see every single stitch, but it's not going to be like a really tightly, like twisty rope. All right? So I'm going to show you kind of like a medium twist. All right, so we're going to go like this. And before you go down, we want to make sure that we have our loop on the hump. So mine is humping this way, like that. So the loop is going to go this way on top of it. All right. There's another stitch called an outline stitch, and it's literally just the opposite. So you just put it below. All right. I find with a stem stitch, the stitches lay a lot nicer if you put the loop on the hump, where an outline stitch is great to outline things where you want the twisty part to be more visible from the bottom or the outside. Okay? Like that. I'm not so sure if that makes sense if you don't actually do a lot of embroidery or outlining. So what we're going to do is come up here. If you want me to elaborate more, I can. But with these stitches, I tend to talk a lot. And people are like, just get to it. Okay, just do the stitch. Okay, so we're going to come up right in the middle of these two. Like that. And you're going to pull it like that. So you have something that looks like this. Almost like a little like T. Like that. Okay? Now your next stitch is technically going to be like a half. So you're only going to go forward halfway. So again, you have the same length of stitches. They're just offset like this. All right? So you're really only going to go forward like a half here. And then come up on this one right here. It could be the same hole or close to it. It doesn't really matter because it's going to be covered up. Okay? Like that. And then halfway again. And you can get like pretty quick at it. I've got 4 strands, so you can kind of see how that looks. If you want to do all 6 and make it a little bit chunkier, obviously you can. I've got 1 strand that does not want to lay flat. Train it. And we just keep doing that all the way through, all the way to the bottom. And when you end it, I tend to do a tiny little half stitch at the end. And I'll show you what that looks like too. And it just makes it look a little bit more cohesive, like the line is the same thickness all the way from the very top to the bottom. So normally if I do mine, I'll put a little half stitch at the start as well, because I don't know if you can see it. That first stitch right there, it's only the one, there's not 2 strands. So all the other ones have the 2 strands there that kind of make it look twisty, but that top one, it's just got that one. So sometimes it's nice to do like a little half stitch first and then start your stem stitch, just because then you get like a nice solid, like a rope, like texture the whole way through. But really, this is like not a huge important part. Do you know what I mean? So if you don't do that, that's fine. Don't worry about it. And don't feel like you have to go back and add one. Ow. Because it's really like not that big of a deal. You know? It's just something to think about for next time, because you might come back and think, oh, actually, I know exactly what she's talking about. Or you might think, you're crazy. It looks exactly the same. You cannot tell. So yeah, it's completely up to you. And then the same thing for underneath the bow. So if you have done 2 or 3 of these stems, just put 2 or 3 below. You don't have to make it like exact, like you've got 10 stems on top, so you need 10 on the bottom, because as you know, when you have a bouquet, you really only see the ones in the front. So we're just trying to make it so that they don't look really sparse down there. Meaning like we don't want to have this completely filled up with stuff and then have like 2 stems on the bottom, because you're going to be like, well, that looks funny. Why is it like that? Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, that little half stitch at the end. Okay. So it's literally just that one, like that. Put it right back down. Okay, it's literally just a tiny little half stitch, but it's going to make it look so much more cohesive. Yeah, then you can start again. Just kind of pretend that this went there. So I'm going to start this one with a half stitch, and then maybe you can see what I mean. So you do your half stitch, and then you go right back to the beginning and pretend like we did it from the start, like we did at the, at the start. Like I showed you the first time. Sometimes my choice of words are not great. And once you get good at it, you can kind of do it in one full motion like I've been doing. So you kind of poke it down a little bit like that, and then poke it right back up where you want it to go, and then pull it all at one time. So you don't have to pull it and then pull it again. But the only thing is that sometimes if you've got a loose thread, it will kind of be kinked like that. You see this one's kinked? Let's see if I can pull it to the side. Yeah, see? So that one there, you can use your fingernails. Get them all on the same page, I'm going to do this one more, and that's it. So some people I see through you sending me pictures have only done one. If you've only done one of these, just do one. That's fine. If you've done 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever, make sure you make them come down like that. Okay? We want them to be in the middle of this knot right here. So it looks like the bow is holding all of the stems together. Okay? So there we go. We did the stem stitch with 4 strands. That's it. So enjoy. I will say the only other thing that I probably want to kind of like remind you is things like this when you've got half of it on the top and half of it on the bottom. Try and make it one straight line. Not straight up and down, but I mean one like continuous line. That's a better word. Because if it's kind of going over here like mine is, and then over here down, that's going to look like 2 separate ones. Like your eye is like, hold on, is this branch broken? Like what's happening here, And it's not that big of a deal if you've already done it, or if you don't want to redraw it, or for whatever reason. But this is kind of where drawing with your whole arm can really help, because you can almost you know what I mean, with your whole arm like that, instead of going like this, with your whole arm. So it depends on how kind of curved you want it or whatever. But if you have to redraw them a couple times just to make sure that you like them, do that. All right. So there we go. We did a stem stitch, 4 strands. Make sure you do all of your same stems the same. Okay, if you want to have a bit of cohesion. Tomorrow is Thursday. We're going to be drawing the next bit. Okay? So get your pens out, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.